This is Mike Sawyer, New Bedford guy. We're talking to the candidates tonight about the October 3rd election. We're here with Ward 5 candidate Nelson Macedo. So Nelson, why should the residents of New Bedford vote you into office?
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mike, and the Bedford guy for allowing me to speak to the voters of Ward 5. My name is Nelson Macedo. I am a candidate for Ward 5 City Council. I am a lifelong Ward 5 resident and former Ward 5 councilor for 12 years. I am running because I believe that the citizens of New Bedford and the people who pay the bills should have a strong and powerful voice in the city council. Our elected officials should be accountable to the citizens, not with idle promises, but with results. The city faces unique challenges and opportunities, and we must be prepared to meet them. The city budget, taxes, public infrastructure, infrastructure and public safety, and education are some of the major issues affecting our city. Our public policy must have strategy, and we must be able to measure the success of our strategy and change it when necessary. Budget, taxes. City residents have seen drastic increases in taxes and fees that are not even keeping pace with the cost of government. Residential commercial tax rates remain high and continue to rise, stalling the economic growth. Unfunded mandates by the state continue to put additional pressure on the resources, and we must seek solutions working with our state legislators on this matter. We must continue to seek out federal grants to meet our investment needs in public safety and in community development, while cutting unnecessary spending and direct resources to critical needs. In my 12 years as your Ward 5 councilor and acting mayor, I have been involved on both sides of this debate of where those priorities lie. The City Council and the Mayor's Office should develop a strategy for long-term reduction in the size of government while prioritizing our immediate needs in all departments. The improvement of the Bedford's local economy would be one of my objectives as City Councilor. The city must continue to broaden its tax base by attracting businesses to New Bedford and streamlining the process of government for existing businesses to expand. The maritime airport rail expansion would create economic opportunities and jobs, and the City Council should act active in pursuing these goals. We should expand on state programs such as the Creative Economic Network to bring more small businesses, jobs, and investments to the city of New Bedford. Public safety is a concern throughout the city. The challenges of the police and fire departments should be met with adequate funding to address problem areas. We must strengthen our support for community police policy programs, maintain student resource officers in our schools, and seek federal funding for after-school programs, especially for the risk youth. I will work closely with the police and fire departments to ensure critical needs are being met and finding alternatives to the rolling brownouts. We must find other cost-cutting measures without sacrificing the safety of our community. The City Council must be proactive in coordination with city departments in addressing absentee landlords with problem properties and foreclosed properties. Vacant properties are a heaven for criminal activities, and the city has had some success in bringing action in court against these property owners. My open ward meetings, held monthly, will address these types of neighborhood problems early. We can take back neighborhoods one block at a time when concerned citizens get involved and community leaders act. As Ward 5 councilors, I fought for and proposed legislation for tougher penalties against drug dealers in our school zones. The opium crisis has affected every city in America, and New Bedford is not immune. The City Council should continue to support educational awareness programs for children and adults, as well as information regarding treatment options. Community outreach programs can be instrumental and should have the full support of the City Council. Infrastructure. Around the city of New Bedford and Ward 5, there are roads and sidewalks that are in dire need of repair. Infrastructure should be treated as an investment. As a city councilor, I will ensure that the city residents in Ward 5 get a dollar's worth of service for every dollar spent. We must examine our success, our process, and planning for the future needs and development in coherent strategy. Education is the key of our future growth as a community. The Bedford public school system has made great strides in recent years. but still have a long way to go. While the school budget has grown largely because of state mandates, the City Council must press for accountability and results. It is vitally important that we direct resources to critical needs and properly plan for the future capital improvements. I respectfully ask for your vote on October 3rd.
Okay, so question, you're running for Ward 5, so what is, when you're out and about talking to people, what's the biggest concern for Ward 5 residents?
They're very concerned with the way the tax base has increased drastically the last few years, and they'd like to see a tax break in the neighborhoods.
Let's see, so Craig asks about Ward 5 has many homeless living in Buttonwood and Panhandle right on Kempton. What's your opinion of homeless living in the streets and in the woods?
I think we have to continue the outreach programs to get these homeless people and offer them the services that they probably don't know they're available to them, first of all. And secondly, the panhandlers is a problem, especially on the particular corner of 140 and Route 6. The city of Bedford has taken a stride to put some barriers up on that particular section. I would have liked to see something different, like planting some flowers, trees, the whole width of the sidewalk, so nobody can stand there. That would be one of the focuses I would try to get, working with the city council and the mayor's office and other departments, try to get that implemented in that particular area where the panhandlers hang out, and that would hopefully resolve the problem once and for all, instead of us looking at barriers coming into the city of New Bedford and out from the city of New Bedford.
So what would you say the priority is for the entire city, not just the ward?
I think the two main issues for the city of New Bedford is the tax rate, the continuously of the tax rate increases that we've seen in the last few years, and the crime situation in the city of New Bedford.
So what would you better do for those? So like for taxes, what would you do?
I would go into the city council when the budgetary process comes into play and make sure that we streamline government as much as possible, but not affecting our essential services like the fire, police, EMS.
What about crime? How do you reduce crime?
Crime, we have to look at a lot of, I think the police department, the Bedford Police Department has also stride in this particular area. We have to continue to look at these abandoned properties that the drug dealers actively stand in and work with the property departments like the health department, the building department, and try to get these landlords to secure these buildings or get them back up to sell them or get them back to the tax base.
So if you're elected to Ward 5 City Council, what's the first thing you do when you get into office?
I would work closely with the departments as I stated, the Bedford Police, Fire, EMS, and assure that they have essential, their needs are met so they can provide us continued services that they're doing very well at this point.
So what background do you have that you feel this would help you with success to run to be a city councilor?
Well, I have 12 years experience of being a former city councilor. I also had the opportunity to be in the acting mayor of the city of New Bedford in 1983. I feel strongly that being elected 12 years straight gives me the experience to come back and do the proper job for the people of the city of New Bedford, and especially in Ward 5.
So Jason asks, instead of tax break, would you be for aiming to complete the commuter rail project? So what's your philosophy on the rail, South Coast Rail from Boston to New Bedford?
I'm going to be very realistic. I think we're far away from the rail coming into the city of New Bedford. Recently they've discussed that they're talking going into Middleville and providing the services to New Bedford and Fall River. That would be a great start. And all for the rail. I'm just hoping that the state legislators would push that issue a little bit better for us.
So Jonathan asks, you've been in the game for a while. What would you do differently now that you haven't done before?
I basically would continue with my previous activity as a city councilor from 1980 to 1992, which is to provide community constituency services, hold open ward meetings, and I feel very strongly that the cost of the city budget and everything else has increased to a point where I have the experience to look at it and hopefully reduce the tax rate and work good with the constituency in Ward 5.
So Craig asked about what's your view on people being Narcaned multiple times, being brought back from overdose? There's been some sheriffs in Ohio who said no more Narcan, and obviously some people are saying, hey, be compassionate. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think we have to continue to look at life. You know, I know that I worked at St. Luke's Hospital for 10 years in the past, and I've seen a few overdoses in my time, and we've always administered Narcan was the first administrative drug to the individual, and it brought it back to life. These individuals are actually passed on, and the Narcan brings them back, and I think we should continue that avenue, and we'll look at other avenues, because I also, under the understanding, there's another particular drug that they're considering and giving the overdoses also.
Okay, last question. So what's the best thing about New Bedford?
I think the best thing of the city of New Bedford is the people who live in it. The diversity of the city of New Bedford is great. Without them, we wouldn't have the city of New Bedford doing as well as it is.
Okay, so this has been Ward 5 candidate Nelson Macedo. Up next, we have Dan Coster at 8:15. He's the Ward 1 candidate. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you very much, Mike.